Solus was just standing right here and now he leaves. He left. Hi, guys. Is anybody willing to babysit a almost 2-year-old cat? Please. 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 Hi, Jen. Hi, Matt. Hi, Aaliyah. Welcome, guys. He's driving me like absolutely bonkers. I did finally get a tracking collar for him so he can go outside, but they sent me 2, and then like it's a whole thing, and so I'm just being patient with the process, and I'm just like, this is probably how parents feel when like it's summer break and the kids are home and it's just like, no, go back to school. Yeah, Solus is only 2. Him is a baby. Him a baby. Hello. Hi, Sammy. Yeah, he's just a little guy. He's... yeah. Yep, as a mama too, definitely the same. Couldn't wait for back to school. Yeah, right? I know. And what's funny for those of you who are new, like, I used to work in school. I used to be a teacher. And so it's like, I know the like reprieve that happens when kids are at school, and nice little break. Thank you. Thanks, Aaliyah. Hi, High Priestess. You also have an 8th house Mercury. Let's go. I seem to collect you guys. How we feeling, guys? How's this how's the eclipse portal treating everybody? How is it? Oof. Oof. I'm so tired. I've been like sleeping at least 10 hours a night since the eclipse started, since this portal opened. I've just been sleeping. But something weird did happen though, where like I woke up because Solus woke me up at like what I thought was 1 a.m. I checked my phone and it said 1:30, and then he kept bugging me, and I like checked my phone again and it said 4:30, and I was like, what? It was super strange. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, interesting for sure. I don't even know how to explain it. I was talking to one of my friends about it, where it's like there's like big flashes of insight, and then you have to like take a day to like digest the information and to like sit with it. Yeah. Even sitting here with you guys now, I'm like, I feel really not ungrounded, but like tired, a little bit lethargic. Yeah, slow mindset, not necessarily in a bad way. Yeah, it's like definitely chewing on things a lot slower. I haven't been engaging or watching any like short form content. Like, it has been irritating to me. And then not a lot of music, not listening to a lot of music, which I'm like obsessive with music. So that's new for me. Just checking in here. Anybody new to the live stream? I go live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 12 Mountain, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Slow processing still happening here. To talk about what's going to be happening astrologically, to talk about the different shifts in the energetic atmosphere, energetic weather. That's kind of how I look at this. And what's interesting about me is I don't really look at the transits until I'm sitting here with you guys. So you guys get my first kind of reaction to it. You guys are with me as I am diving into it. And this upcoming week is pretty tame, but we are in the middle of an eclipse portal. So the biggest thing with being in, so what's an eclipse portal? It's the 2 weeks between eclipses. And eclipses, what's so funny to me is like, Hey, hold on. This kid of mine, hold on. You guys should see the fortress I've built around my plants because he just attacks my plants out of spite. I've built like pillows and there's tripods and there's books like covering all my plants. So he can't. Yeah. Okay. Well, hi, Carolyn. Welcome. Come here. Yeah, come say hi to everybody. Like, come in. Come in. Come on. Come on. Nope. Hello, Liquid. Come on. He's just like, no. Hi. Welcome, guys. We got some people popping in, joining. My goodness. I am got slow brain. Also, I'm like out of coffee, so that's another thing to add to my list of things. But I've been slowly weaning myself from caffeine, so most of my coffee is decaf, though decaf has like a tiny hint of caffeine still in it. So today's like first morning without it, so I definitely can feel my vibes are a lot lower, just slower. So we're going to take our time with today's live stream and just honor that and honor this eclipse portal. And like I was saying before I got distracted by my child, is this eclipse portal, there's not much to do. It's just witnessing ultimately. Chicken wire. Yeah, well, that's a good idea actually. He wants to go outside, for context. Hi, Lainey. He wants to go outside and he can't right now. He can't go outside right now. I'm waiting for other thing. There's so much stuff. Okay. I don't You guys are getting me in this like very like in between state right now where I'm like, am I is any of this real? That's what the eclipse portal does. Yay, Carolyn. I'm so glad I answered before you even asked. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people. Okay. So what I was going to say about the eclipses now that I'm like locked back in is what is amusing to me is that on news stations, they'll be like super rare eclipse. I'm like, eclipses happen twice a year. Like sets of eclipses. It's like a reoccurring thing. Yes, it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to see it, but they happen in pairs twice a year. And I remember as a kid, like being like, whoa, an eclipse, like the eclipse hasn't happened in 50 billion years. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's not real. But maybe like actually being able to view it in a specific location. Yes. So much has resurfaced from my past, but I faced it so differently. Yes, that's exactly it. Like that's, oh my God, he is literally trying so hard to get to these plants. He knows it pisses me off. That, hey, come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Come here. Hi, bud. Here he is. Thanks for all the likes and all the love and all their shares. Yeah. Okay. Hey. You can see his tail. The way his tail's moving, he's just not... He's agitated. He wants things. Yeah, come here. Going up there? Okay. And I've like blocked off my whole shelf so he can't like do anything. He's so distracting to me right now. Like I feel like this is how moms feel all the time, where it's like I can't do anything because my child and his needs. Hey. No. He's gonna try to fit through this. Watch. I'm just gonna I'll be right back, guys. I just did the equivalent of giving the kid the iPad. I just gave him food. I just did because genuinely, God, until he can go back outside again, he's just like a menace. He needs to run around and like go be a kid. So it's that, or I have to get another cat. Like, and to get another cat right now would be self-sabotage ultimately. Oh my God, no, literally it's been the last 3 days, and then the fact that I'm like in my luteal phase, it makes it so more irritating. I'm like, oh, like you're so lucky. You're so lucky. I love you. Okay. What was I even talking about, guys? Oh my God. I feel like I should have like set this up. Maybe I need to get him a babysitter when I'm live streaming. Hi Dana. Yeah, I try. I love him so much. So much. Okay. Okay. I'm like, what am I even doing? What's happening? What's going on? I know I was talking about the eclipses, and we're in the middle of the eclipse portal. So definitely Carolyn was mentioning like some themes resurfacing. I'm curious how for everybody the eclipses have been feeling. And for this, it's like this 2-week period. For those of you who sat with me during the eclipse portal at the start of the year, like it was basically like you just don't do anything. You just have to witness. There's not anything to manifest or to do. Basically, what an eclipse portal does is it like brings up all the substance that you're going to be integrating for the next 6 months. Oh no, these are big plants. These are like big plants, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. You got a trip. To help get his house on the market. Yeah. It's like big things come up, and then it's like you do the big thing, and then it's like integration. And depending on where the eclipse axis is landing within your chart, like that's going to be greater themes. And so definitely big integration for some things that have moved. Like I know for me, the last eclipse portal, I got a very clear like download of information of like something that I want to create. Like it was very like, here it is. And I was like, cool, how? And they're like, just sit on it for a bit. And so I've sat on it for 6 months, haven't done anything, just have been like receiving more information and living like in alignment with what was asked of me. And then now it's like, oh, here's the next steps. It's like it's almost like you get like a little glimpse into how things are going to move. And then the 6 months are like integrating and like evolving into being able to hold certain things or being able to build upon what was revealed. I like to equate eclipse portals to if you've ever sat with plant medicine, where you kind of open your aperture a bunch and then you spend the next bit of time integrating this information. Like without integration, it's fruitless, right? And not a lot of people, right, are doing a lot of integration. And I do like to name that. I know my content isn't for everybody. I tend to call in an audience of people that are actively like living to the best they can in alignment with their heart, right? And so most people will have these eclipse portals happen and have no idea why or like what's going on, and have no idea, you know, where they're just living their life and it is what it is. Thank you, Colleen. Also, I just saw your message. Yeah, definitely need to get him some stimulating tools, toys, but he's going to be going outside too. I just need to get this collar thing set up. They just sent me 2 of them, and it's this whole thing, and it just makes sense, and I just need to call them and get it sorted out. And so I have the thing, but they're trying to make me pay more money for it, and I'm like, no, okay. Anyways, do you have advice with leaning towards Greek goddesses I've researched? What do you mean by advice via researching? I'm curious with that, because with doing deity work, I personally don't really do deity work anymore. That was something that I used to, like, I see all gods, goddesses, all any pantheon, like these archetypes, I see them as archetypal energy that we are able to relate stories to, that we can connect with different parts of our own inner being. And yeah, if that makes sense. So it's not that I'm like, Athena's a real entity. I'm like, I am Athena, and Athena is me, and she's representing something outside of me right now because I need to focus on that sort of more strategic, warlike thinking. I could also relate to Athena to a planetary body. I can relate it to Pallas Athena within the natal chart and where it's transiting. So that's my own personal like expression with that and understanding these things, because it's all just like, and that's why I love storytelling. That's why I love astrology, astrology's patterns. It's basically like divination math. It's kind of how I look at it, which is why I love doing these. With gods and goddesses, I have found for my own path, I don't research them. They show up to me in certain signs and symbols, right? I don't really go like searching out. I let them show up to me, however that is. Whether it's like through dogs barking, I relate that to Hecate, or owls like Athena, or these different things, right? These different pieces. So yeah, with researching books are great. I mean, I have this mythology book here. I love mythology. Yeah, and crows. I've been digging more into Norse pantheons lately, which has been beautiful, and it's kind of been stemmed from a fantasy book I've been reading. So yeah, it's what's really cool is there's so much information out there. I would even just go to a library at this point. It's like, let's go pick up books and look at things. And yeah, when it comes to researching, yeah. I wish I had a better answer for you, because for me, it's, I grew up with working with gods and goddesses and things like that. Yeah. Zeus has been popping up for me like crazy. Yeah. Odin has been for me since moving, has been very strong. And just Gaia in general. Yeah, there's so many books, and I wish I was well versed in that. I feel like that was when I first left religion when I was 15. I really leaned into like more Wiccan direction and went full witch. And then I've kind of like shifted. I've been through all kinds of the gambit of different beliefs and religions at this point. Hi, bud, you ate and now you come lay on my lap? Come on. Come here. There we go. And now he's gonna rest. Oh, I just completely yanked my desk. Yay, okay, happened 2022, so it's like a new phase. Yeah, it's funny, about 3 years ago I dipped back into Christianity for fun, because I was like, teach me about Jesus. I went to like a local church, and because I grew up Mormon, which has a whole different flair to it. So there's so many different ways, there's so many different avenues that we can go down with beliefs. And I like astrology because it's not a belief system, it's pattern recognition, and this can all be traced to historical patterns. That's why I really love it. Okay. Wow. I've been loving this chat, guys. I love these questions. And if some of you guys are confused about like whose questions I'm answering, I'm live on 3 different platforms. Just a heads up. Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. That's what I do. Okay. So this upcoming week, right? We're in the middle of the eclipse portal. So with these transits that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to bring in sort of an edge of understanding that this is not that it's passive, but things are just going to be coming up. Things are going to be surfacing for us all, as always, to navigate. Yeah, astrology. I'm so glad I got into astrology when I was just a wee tot. By that, I mean like 15, because it's a massive language. And there's more that I'm learning. Never ends. So what we've got going on this week is on Monday. Monday's kind of our heavy hitter, and we've probably been feeling these transits build up. Also, I hit my face on a cabinet yesterday, and so now when I talk, because it's so bruised, you can't even see it. Now I don't look cool. I was really hoping I'd look like cool, like I got in a fight, but it's a bit small. I can tell the difference. I see my face every day. Anyways. You guys are seeing me like fully unfiltered brain jumping all around the place. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the astrological forecast for the week of August 17th to August 23rd. So I'm excited to dive in. Monday's going to be our bigger day. So Monday the 17th, Mars is squared Neptune, Mercury's trine Saturn, and then Venus is sextile Jupiter. Then we have a transit happening on Friday, August 21st, where Venus is opposing Saturn. Then on Saturday, August 22nd, the sun enters Virgo. Thank God I'm ready for Virgo season. Get me out of Leo season. And Sunday, August 23rd, the sun is trine Chiron. So we're going to take a peek at my screen here, jumping into it. And thank you everybody over on TikTok for liking and sharing the live. It gets my content out to other people who may enjoy it. I've noticed with this dual streaming that TikTok doesn't really promote my content to the FYP, so that's cool. It's whatever. Anyways, now let's take a peek here. Let's jump ahead to the 17th. We've got Mars hanging out at 4 degrees of Cancer, making a square to Neptune. So this will be earlier in the morning. Actually, it's like pretty early in the morning. I'm sure this is a big chunk of the like pressure that we're feeling. We've felt the last few days. I'm not sure if anybody else has had some subtle irritation building or frustration that's kind of out of left field. This is probably that transit coming to a head. So when we look at Mars is our will, our drive, how we get things done, and Mars is in Cancer. It's kind of like throwing a tantrum about it. I feel bad. I feel like I've shit on Mars in Cancer the last couple weeks. It's a very interesting transit. When we actually look at Mars in Cancer, it's actually about defending our feelings and actually standing up for what we feel is right. Now, my logical brain goes into, well, feelings can't really be justified, right? Where it's like, well, you felt this way. Was that a proper reaction to the circumstance or the truth of what was going to be said, etc.? So, that's where I kind of go into my own little monologue about that. But when we actually deepen into this transit specifically, this square is creating tension with Neptune. I'm going to pause and just check in with everybody. Y'all following? Hello, welcome, King. Hi, Maserati. Is that? Yeah. Yes. Welcome. It's like I need to take a moment. Mars was ruling our solar eclipse that happened just a week ago, and Mars is sort of this heavy hitter right now, and I really want to emphasize that because we just had a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer during most of July, and so Mars is kind of coming in and like doing a lot of action-oriented cleanup around what was surfaced during the Mercury retrograde. And so this square happening to Neptune is creating basically what I was already saying. So Neptune is our planet of spirituality, our planet of, it's like the higher octave of love. It is unconditional love. It is the dissolving of boundaries and oof. Ow. I just got a sharp heart pain. Y'all good? Who's hurting? Who is hurting? And this square is really bringing up frustration about probably spiritually bypassing your feelings. I'm going to be so honest. This transit is Mars, and the way squares work, and this is kind of how I like to frame a square within astrology. It's a 90-degree angle, and it creates tension. It creates friction and irritation. So if we think of like the tectonic plates, when they rub up against each other, something happens. Something happens, whether it's an earthquake, a tsunami, volcanic eruption, right? That's what happens when the tectonic plates rub up against each other. That's sort of like a square. So we have Mars rubbing up against Neptune, and Mars is standing in this archetype of Cancer, really wanting to fight for our feelings. And Cancer is all about self. It's the first water sign, so it's how I feel. How I feel. Yeah, bless my males with Mars and Cancer. Like, there is a beautiful opportunity for the Mars and Cancer, which it's like really owning the feelings and like really creating safe containers for you to properly release feelings and move through them. And the actual individuation and evolving of that energy is super powerful. As always, each placement has its underbelly, which the underbelly of Mars and Cancer is getting your feelings hurt really easily when it's not actually usually about you. And that's like the hard truth with it. I have a lot of Cancers in my life, like a lot. So I've gotten the opportunity to really witness and reflect with them. So Mars and Cancer really wants their feelings to be justified and heard and witnessed and respected, right? And that's the thing about feelings, is it's personal and it's fleeting and it is just a reaction to something, right? Where they come and go. Now, Neptune in Aries retrograde has been having us do this really deep internal work around self-love, right? I'm such a fan of Neptune and Aries right now because it's really shaking off the previous dust of Neptune in Pisces, and it's really having us lean into radical self-love, like the revolution being based on self-love by taking care of self and becoming the best version, not like the best version, but being like responsible for your feelings, being responsible for how you show up, how you navigate and how you engage with other people and how you love yourself in that process. It wakes other people up. It supports other people, right? And this square is kind of this edge around, you might have feelings coming up that maybe don't necessarily feel justified in the deep sense of self-love, where it's like, oh, right, this thing happened and I see the greater picture of it, and it's a spiritual bypassing ultimately. And so I usually find through transits that usually it is a play between you and somebody else, specifically squares. So somebody might be playing the role of the Mars and Cancer in your experience, and you're the Neptune and Aries, or vice versa, right? And of course, if there's not any external influence, it might be an internal experience where you're facing those parts of yourself on this Monday. And so this square really is bringing up like, you're allowed to have your feelings, and you're also allowed to have deep self-acceptance and self-love and let yourself feel your feelings and not make it wrong. So again, the squares create tension that bring a new perspective in. And that's what they do for greater integration, right? Sometimes conflict is one of the best things that we can go through because it really shows the truth, like what we stand for, where also squares bring up like where maybe you've bypassed your boundaries or you've neglected your edges and boundaries, and somebody takes advantage of that and you have to go, oh shit, I need to put a boundary down. Hello, Mappy. So yeah, on Monday, this square is coming up to really invoke acceptance of your deep feelings for the sake of true self-love, right? Where sometimes this Neptune in Aries can kind of get on its high horse and it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to love myself, but there's no depth to it. And that's where this Mars in Cancer is really inviting in more depth and like, what is really activating you right now? Additionally, on this day, we have Mercury making a trine to Saturn, which is really, really supportive. I really like this. So we've got Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries retrograde and then Mercury at 14 degrees of Leo. This is right. When I speak to all of these transits, they all come together in a very unique way. So now we have this supportive trine, this harmonious influence happening between our planet of communication and Saturn retrograde in Aries. And Saturn retrograde in Aries has been inviting us into looking at what we've built the last 6 months and reevaluating that structure, like really testing it out, putting it to the test. So I feel like this square can be one of those testing edges, one of those moments that brings in, how do I want to word this? The tension, or it's a stress test is kind of like what I'm picturing this as is like, okay, does the foundation hold for something like this? Insert big emotional storm or big feelings, right? And you might find where there's compromising structural pieces within the foundation you've been working on. Does that make sense? Sometimes when I am talking about the astrology, it makes sense in my head, and I want to make sure that you guys are following, because Saturn has been really having us restructure our boundaries and restructure our identity too. And so this restructuring that's happening with the retrograde is we're going to have this access to communication about it. So Mercury is bringing in this edge of like, oh, I'm going to be able to talk about what I'm reconfiguring. And actually, it feels beautiful in the sense of being able to communicate honestly where okay, I'm getting like such rich imagery with this. It's really beautiful, and it's sort of like this square that's happening is such a beautiful invitation to actually have like a heart to heart and a real conversation around like old foundational pieces that might be leaving your life right now and like the grief that comes in with it. And I feel like that Mars and Cancer really is that grief invitation of like, oh, this, like, because I'm literally, okay, let me just explain what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is I'm like seeing a foundation, right, to build a house. Like you level the ground and you start putting in these foundational pieces, and I'm seeing 4 corners, and you've got 3 corners that are really, really like well done, and the 4th one is one that's really old and really rotted, but it like it's emotionally tied to something, to a story, right? That's the thing about Cancer energy is it's really tied to memory. And so you're looking at that, and whatever this square is invoking for you, it's like the grief of like, yeah, I need to replace that. And that's what Saturn retrograde in Aries is saying is like, hey, we need to have like a real honest heart to heart that like this needs to be removed. And the grief that comes with it, where a part of you, your highest self, Neptune and Aries, is like, yeah, this needs to change. But there is a really emotionally charged part of you that is moving through a lot of grief around letting go old structural pieces. Yeah. So this trine that is happening between Saturn and Mercury, it is like a very supportive space for conversation around rebuilding, around building new structures, around like an admittance of like, I have to let this thing go, and that being supportive and actually being able to share those things and to have conversations around what it feels like strategy meeting, like now I'm hearing like board meeting. It's like, okay, yeah, these pillars aren't working. We have to like talk about it. And for some of you, depending on where it's falling within your natal chart, it's going to be deeply unique. It's going to have its own flavor to it. Okay. Additionally, on this day, we have a sextile happening, which is very beautiful and is going to add to this greater story that's at play here. So we've got Venus in Libra hanging out, making a sextile to Jupiter in Leo. And this is really yummy, truthfully. This is very, very delicious. So this sextile brings in a lighter, flirtatious energy in the sense of expanding through the heart, right? Venus in Libra brings in deeper conversational pieces where we can actually talk about these things. And Jupiter and Leo is really wanting to be seen in it. And so there's a sextile of actually, though there is this tension underneath the surface that we're grieving, we're going to be able to talk about these things in very supportive ways that expand our heart, that allow our heart to be seen in the vulnerability of not being a fully complete piece of art, right? If we looked at our lived experience as this tapestry of life, like it's constantly evolving and changing, and understanding that it's not supposed to be a fully finished thing. It's meant to be a work in progress. And there's something so beautiful about the vulnerability of being seen as a work in progress here, and actually using that as an expansion and using it to connect more vulnerably with people around you. Carolyn is asking, how much is a birth chart reading? I'd love to do that when I can. All my offerings are going to be on my website. I have different tiered levels and different things, so it just depends on what you're looking for. So definitely take a peek at that, and yeah, let me know. I would love to do that. I don't do live chart readings, obviously, for anybody who is new here. I don't do live readings, chart readings, because I go really deep. And I know I have a couple of clients here who are hanging out, listening. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not something that I would do publicly because it's really potent. Aquarius Sun, Leo Moon, got yeah, I'm glad. Sweet Sacred Bless. Yeah, my pricing is in USD. Yes. Good question, actually. Yeah, I'm like, I don't think the site I use displays the currency. Interesting. Yeah, lots of stuff surfacing for sure. And so let's go ahead and jump to Friday, because Friday is our next transit on the 20, right? Friday, 21st, we'll cast this chart. I'm going to drink some water. Everybody else drink some water. Okay. So on Friday the 21st, Venus is at 14 degrees of Libra, making an opposition to Saturn at 14 degrees. Yeah, you like my license plate, Taurus? It's almost like my name's Izzy and I'm a Taurus. I was really, really proud of that. Okay. So Friday, Venus, our planet of love, of adoration, of values, of worth, is staring face to face to Saturn, our planet of discipline, structure, and boundaries. So this is kind of a interesting moment here, especially because Saturn is retrograde. And whenever a planet is retrograde, it makes the work more internal. It's less of this outward action. It's more of like an inner introspection that's happening. And like I've already named with Saturn retrograde in Aries, it's been this reconfiguration around our identity, around what we've been building, on what we desire to create our identity from. It's this big piece, and going slow and steady. It's kind of like, oh, okay, gotta look at the trajectory. Is this what I really want? For a lot of people, Saturn retrograde kind of shifted things. It's like, wait, I've been building something for like this long, for like 6 months, and I don't even know if I really want to do that anymore. It's a very Aries thing. Okay. So now this opposition, it's a little frustrating because Venus in Libra really wants to be seen and bring things into balance, find a level, an even keel, like even ground. And Saturn, they're having a whole thing happen in my head right now. I get a lot of rich imagery. Venus in Libra really wants to be seen right now. There's a part of you that feels like ready to be observed and witnessed, and Saturn is in a hermit mode right now, is in this space of like, we're not ready yet. And it's, you know what? So I always like to, I kind of personify the planets, and Saturn, Kronos, Father Time, he's kind of that paternal influence that we, at least I would have loved as a young girl, like a father that would say, no, like, here's your curfew, or like, no, here's the boundary. Yeah, my dad just used religion, which is cool. But it's kind of like a teenage girl arguing with her father. That's what this opposition feels like, where it's like, just got here. How much did I miss? We're about 45 minutes in, but we've been talking about the forecast for only, I think, like 20 minutes or so. So on Friday, there's going to be this facing off of like and I want to name that Venus in Libra is very well put together, right? I'm seeing like very, what's the word? I don't know why the word equestrian's coming in. But I'm getting this like private school-esque kind of vibe from this Venus in Libra, where it's like, I've got, like, she's like, I've done everything you've asked, like, I've got everything together, can't I just like go be in the world? Like, I just want to go to the school dance or whatever. And Saturn retrograde in Aries is like, no, because like I need to pay a bill. It's kind of like there's not actually like a reason for there to be a strong no, but it's just like no, because Saturn is retrograde and is like, I got the imagery of the Little Mermaid of Air. Yeah, but Daddy, I love it. Yeah, literally, it's very like no, and not having like a good reason for it. Like Saturn's just like no, and so there is, again, there is this piece that I want to bring into this conversation where when I'm talking about the astrology here, this is a part of your internal dynamic to a certain degree, as within, so without. That's what the astrology does. Whether there is somebody around you where maybe some of you asked for a raise and your boss is like, no, you know, or like you asked for something and there's sort of this like unjustifiable edge. Oppositions just bring different perspectives. And so they're sort of like, how can we meet in the middle? How can we find like a compromise here? And so that's sort of the edge of this. And also, oh man, I have the eclipse portal flu. That's what I feel like right now. My entire body hurts. I feel like I'm not doing this opposition justice, because I feel like that's a big part of this Venus in Libra, where she's like, but that like Venus is coming in with like some cold hard facts of like, but actually like, and here's the thing about Libra. I love this because Libras will bring in a different perspective just to give context and texture to a conversation, even if they don't believe in that other perspective. And so this Venus in Libra is like, well, actually, here's your answer. I have it. So what are you going to do from there? Like, how are you going to how are you going to debate this? And there's just this stubbornness. And ultimately, I feel this Saturn retrograde in Aries is, sitting with a lot. It really is connected to what is coming up during this eclipse portal, which is a bit of like this death and rebirth. It feels like Saturn doesn't feel like they're solid ground right now. And the identity, it's like, how am I supposed to let this part of me be seen, Venus in Libra, when I don't even feel very secure within myself? Like my boundaries feel a little bit wobbly, and I just don't. Ultimately, it does come down to this protection piece, right? Saturn just wants to keep Venus safe. And it's like, I just don't, like, my own fears are getting in the way of that. So there is just a piece of that coming up. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Saturn opposing Venus? They just have different perspectives. And I feel like just really inviting yourself to sit with both parts, right? And shout out to, I'm not sure if you're still here, Colleen. My friend Colleen does a lot of work with parts work through IFS. And it's really brought me into looking at the astrological planets and the transits as different parts of us, right? What is this bringing up for us? What is this surfacing within our own internal makeup? And how can we move through that? So this opposition just really is invoking that part of you that's afraid to be seen without being fully complete. Again, reiterating kind of what was evoked on Monday. And also the part of us where it's like, it's okay to be seen, and it's okay to have fear, and it's okay to feel the fear and do it anyways. So there is tension here, though. There is a little bit of like a battle of the minds, the heart, and the logic is what's coming through here. And I mean, Venus brings in a lot of good facts. She's like, actually, I have all the answers if you just like would let us go be seen. So that's happening now on the 22nd. Thank freaking God. It's later in the evening, truthfully. Let's do this at the sun enters Virgo. Oh, thank goodness. Leo season is not my favorite. I love Leos. Leo season is just rough for me personally. So the sun enters Virgo. We're going to have a little Virgo moment. I love Virgo energy. I might be a little biased. Virgo is the sixth sign. And as the sun enters Virgo, and I do want to mention that we've got Jupiter in Leo. So whatever sign the sun is in, because Leo rules the sun, is amplified. So I really like that for all of us. It's like there's going to be like this extra oomph to each season here, like an extra like little bonus kind of sauce that's added with Jupiter being in Leo. So let's talk a little bit about Virgo. Virgo being the sixth sign, we're going to do a little lesson here because I love teaching astrology. So we've got our first four signs. Aries. Aw, thank you, Marilyn. You're reading the other day about the ape needing to protect against the emotions. I'm a psychic empath, and it was so overwhelmed that day. Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you. I'm really glad that resonated. The readings lately on YouTube have been so freaking potent. I'm really, by the way, everybody, I'm really pouring into the YouTube channel. It's kind of where I've been called directionally. So if you've yet to subscribe, it's also 8th house Mercury. So to come back to talking about the Virgo season, our first 6 signs tell a story here, right? From just infantry all the way to maidenhood. Okay. And so Virgo is seen as, right, the maiden, the virgin, right? And I want to go a bit deeper because we have to break down the archetype of the virgin. When we actually look at the origin of the word virgin, it means unto thy own, unto her own, right? This is somebody who is sovereign within themselves, and they choose who gets access to them. And that is what it means to be a virgin. It's unto your own. You are not owned by anybody but yourself. Okay, so there's a big reclamation with that Virgo energy here. Now, the thing about Virgo is it's the last sign before we enter into partnership, Libra, and then relating to the collective. So with that being said, Virgo is all about finding equilibrium and finding self before entering partnership. It's all about mind, body, spirit alignment. Okay. And so the alignment that comes in with Virgo is really understanding how important your vessel is, how important like inhabiting your vessel is, and honestly, like being discerning. That's a big keyword for Virgo. And as the sun enters Virgo, it really is a season of discerning, of harvest, of like getting ready to reap into this new phase of self. I don't know why it did that. I don't know why I did that either, Callie. So I love Virgo season. Again, I am biased. I'm going to name that very clearly. I have a bias. I love Virgos. I love Virgos. So as the sun enters Virgo, we're moving into a new state of clarity, of clearing, right? Especially as the following week we'll have a lunar eclipse happening in Pisces, which is finishing the Pisces Virgo axis. This is going to be the first Virgo season that we're having without the South Node in Virgo for the last almost 2 years. So it's going to feel vastly different. It's almost like the past couple years Virgo season has felt like a war zone is a little bit what's coming to mind, where it's like everything, it's like picking apart, being very picky and picking apart everything and pulling at those edges and those threads, and a little bit neurotic, right? Virgo can go that direction for sure, where it's like if it's so hyper fixated on the perfect details, it can get a bit neurotic. And so this is going to be the first time that the sun's in Virgo that we don't have the South Node there anymore. So it's going to be softening, and it's going to be a breath of fresh air. It's, you know, it's smelling like clean sheets and a nice like late summer breeze, which I really, really love. Trying to quit cigarettes, quitting soda with black coffee, quitting Doritos, trying to get more healthy. I would say do one thing at a time. A hard quit of all those things can be really hard on your nervous system. And instead of saying trying to, there's no such thing as trying. You either do it or you don't. That's coming from your Virgo rising queen here. You either do it or you don't. So choose. That sounds lovely. Yeah, Meg, it sounds so freaking good. I would start with the cigarettes. Yeah. I'd be saying that. Virgo rising here. Yeah, let's go. We're the best. That's why I'm biased. So it really is like cleaning up shop is kind of the energy as the sun enters Virgo. It's our ego identity moving into the sign. So for the next season, we're going to be really cleaning things up, getting it clear. And now I'm hearing like the song from Snow White, Whistle While We Work. And it's like, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel good because it's like finally that South Node in Virgo energy is released, right? That's what we've been moving through, is like that hyper perfectionism and integrating into the North Node in Pisces, which has been inviting us into letting go and letting God. And in the process of doing that, it makes the day-to-day mundane easier, right? When you trust in God, source, universe, it makes every day easier. One of my favorite fucking things from one of my favorite books, The Complete Works of Florence Scovel Shinn, is just giving it to God, just letting go and giving it to God. And like, when I don't know something, I'm like, God, I trust you. I just don't, like, if I don't know, it's fine. Yeah, I've been wanting to declutter. Haven't had the mental energy. Yeah. Yes. And so that'll be coming in and it's going to be nice. I really am excited about the lunar eclipse that's coming up. I will have a full YouTube video on that and breaking it down. So that's going to be coming out this next week. What else do I want to talk about with Virgo, the sun in Virgo, other than it's perfect? Yeah, I feel like I'm just looking at my favorite season and I'm just excited for it. Yeah, this is a good time to clear things out. I always love Virgo season because think about like back to school. For those of you who do have kids or like work in school systems, it's like you prepare and you get everything ready, you get things color coded, you get things organized. This is a great time to like really look at what has been moving through the eclipse portal. And once the portal ends on the 27th, it's like, okay, Virgo season is going to be the supportive energy to really like, okay, how do we carry through this energy that's come up, and how do we create systems to support that, right? Beautiful. Now on Sunday, the sun in Virgo is making a trine to Chiron, and it's earlier in the morning on Sunday. As you can see, in the evening, the sun is already at 1 degree of Virgo. So Sunday, the 23rd, the sun trine Chiron in Taurus. I love this. Trines are always supportive aspects. Sunday's your birthday. Yay. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Virgo. Let's go. Do you have any plans? I hope you celebrate. Please. Virgos are notorious for not celebrating themselves. So please celebrate yourself. Take yourself out to a nice dinner or a brunch. This trine is bringing in so let's talk about Chiron and Taurus first. Chiron just barely dipped into Taurus before stationing retrograde. So we all got a quick little moment, a quick little feeling of a bit of our self-worth wounds coming up, our values, a little test to the 3D realm, the pentacles, right? The earthly experience. And Dirty 30, yay! Got kids on Sundays. We're doing cupcakes, yay! Oh, beautiful. I'm glad you're doing something for yourself. And it's so fun celebrating with the kids too, because it just shows them like permission to celebrate and to, appreciate you. That's awesome. Chiron and Taurus retrograde, a lot of it has been a reworking of your values. And so the sun making a trine here is going to bring in this like very clear understanding. It's not like, now Virgo will want to fix and save this Chiron and Taurus and be like, here's all your answers. But I actually feel that this Virgo energy is going to be a bit softer in the sense of, or maybe I'm going to invite in softness of like your heart, your wound around money and worth and values, and those things are coming up. And it really is this supportive trine around like, okay, well, what can we do to bolster that? What can we do each day to reaffirm our worth? How can we, and not going so far on the other end of the spectrum that Virgo can do, where it's like, I've got to prove my worth. I've got to overgive and sacrifice everything and give to everybody. It's okay. What can I do for myself? What software is this? This is Luna Astrology. Yeah. So this trine is going to bring in a very clear, like, I'm seeing like you finding a beautiful structure around like, oh, this is going to help me not feel better about myself, but really notice what I need to feel valuable, which might be going on a walk. It's very practical with the Virgo energy. It's like, oh, I need to do better hygiene. Like I haven't been cleaning my house, right? And this is something that I love. Again, I'm a Virgo rising, is your environment. How you take care of your environment is a reflection of your internal experience. So if it's a cluttered mess, my friends, your internal landscape is a cluttered mess. I'm just being honest. So use this time to actually do things to take care of yourself. You might be realizing, oh yeah, like I've got some old food in the fridge I need to throw out, or like looking at my space. Yeah, I'm pretty clean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, I have a thing on my ceiling that catches the flies. I could replace that. It's got a bunch of flies on it. I'm like trying to find some examples in my life, so I'm not just, you know, pointing at other people. Oh, I know what I can do. I need to get a broom, and I need to organize my bins outside and make things look nice. I want that. And I also want to clean the outside of my house. I want to clean my windows so I can see out more clearly. So that I love giving you guys tangible things around these aspects, because it's like, yeah, what can I do? The Virgo sun is really inviting in like a, hey, like, you don't have to feel bad about these things. We can actually take tangible action to build our worth, right? If that feels low right now, what can we do every day, right? Virgo is all about consistency, to build, to bring in routines, to bring in structures that actually benefit my health, benefit my body, benefit my mind, feed my soul, right? That's what Virgo really desires, okay? So a quick recap for the week. Monday, August 17th, Mars is square Neptune, Mercury is trine Saturn, and Venus is sextile Jupiter. That's going to be kind of our heavier day. We'll spend the rest of the week kind of integrating that energy. And then on Friday, August 21st, Venus is opposing Saturn. On Saturday, August 22nd, the Sun enters Virgo. And then Sunday, August 23rd, the Sun is trine Chiron. Okay? Woo-wee! Hi, Anka. Welcome. Now is the time of the live stream where I open the floor for specific questions. For anybody who has any. My internal landscape is a mess, and it does manifest into my home space. Yeah. Something I like to do is I do like a surface clean every like Saturday. Like it's either Saturday or Monday. I do like a surface clean of my house. And then I have like one area of my house that I deep clean like each week. So it's like, and just rotating. Yes, questions about the forecast, or you can ask if you have very specific questions about your natal chart, make it very specific. I'm not going to do a full deep dive. That's what my natal chart readings are for. I only have 9 readings left for September. My August readings are closed. There's no spots in August left. So blessing for me. But if you were wanting to get one in August, I'm sorry. So September is open. Come on, kitty. For those of you who are interested, right now my card readings are closed as I'm catching up on those. They'll open again soon. Chiron and Leo in the first house. Bless. I actually literally, Meg, we talked about this, I think last Saturday or last live stream. Thank you, Ventura. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. He's way too cute. Anybody who has Chiron in the first house, I feel for you deeply. I know I have a couple of clients. Actually, I get a lot of Chiron in the first house people that I read for. Like either like Chiron in the first house or like right on the ascendant. I get quite a few of you. Chiron is our wound, right? He is the archetype of the wounded healer. When we look into the mythology of Chiron, it is the story about a centaur who is a healer for his tribe, but he perpetually lives with a wound of his own. And he can't heal it, but he heals others. And so there is this medicine around healing your wound by supporting others with the same wound. And so the wound of Chiron and Leo is the wound of being seen and celebrated. And in the first house, it's amplified because at the same degree, your rising sign is Leo. And so, right? Or are you a Virgo rising? Or no. Cancer, no. what is happening in my brain? Yeah. Cancer rising. Your Leo. Yeah. So with your Leo rising, it would be, it's a hard thing because you put out a very proud persona, but you're deeply insecure. And so the wound, right? The healing of the wound is by supporting people who also are afraid of being seen and supporting them, and also understanding and cultivating safety within yourself to be seen. Yeah. It's a big fear of your light being witnessed, or your light was manipulated or exploited in a way that made you not feel safe to be seen. So you cultivate a very well-crafted identity. Yeah. Chiron in the first house is a heavy hitter. I'm going to be so real. I don't feel insecure in myself, but I don't want to be seen. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. And your whole point here is to be seen as a Leo rising. Oh, yeah. And your moon and sun are in the, 12th house. Yeah. You're cooked, babe. Yeah. You're like, yeah, without knowing your full chart and just knowing those pieces. Yeah. There is a part of you that definitely wants to be, wants to be seen, but everything's hiding. Very Cancerian. Yeah, I was picking up on the Cancer energy. I was like, what's going on back there? What's happening back there? Yeah, Matt, you are one of them. I was thinking of you. Yeah, it's a complex thing, and also depending on like the degree of your ascendant and the degree of your Chiron and how far apart they are, it just depends, right? That's where a lot of those heavier details come in when I dive into reading the chart. Like there's so much more than just these small pieces, and like you saw with me reading the astrology for the week, it all plays together. You can't really talk about one aspect without including everything else because it's a symphony, right? It's almost like just zoning in on one like violin and you can't hear the rest, right? Any other questions, sweet friends? Questions, comments, concerns? Yay! Thank you for joining. Yeah, and for anybody who joined for the first time or you might have joined late, I re-upload this to YouTube, so keep your eye out. It will be on YouTube. Both YouTube accounts, Astremia and 8th House Mercury. I do this every Sunday. I'm kind of feeling the desire to shift the day that I do the live stream. So to potentially be changed, I might change it to Saturday maybe. I don't know. I was feeling that. Ugh, my body hurts. And thank you everybody for the likes. I see you. I appreciate you. All right. Highly recommend her natal chart readings. It provides so much clarity and insight. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you. I have a Saturn in Cancer, 5th house, my moon in Aries, and Saturn being 14 degrees Aries retrograde is tearing me a new one. I'm trying to sell my paintings and having a hard time sitting down and painting. Yeah, that sounds very, Saturn transiting. Yeah. Transiting your moon. Yeah. Trying to sell painting. Yeah, I think, yeah, thank you for the likes, everybody. With that olive, it ultimately is showing it's showing you your capacity right now. And it's such a hard edge because Saturn, to kind of break this down, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, so stick around. I think some of you, I'm like getting like all comfy. I feel like this is a really important thing to name for people. Discipline is very important. Now, it's hard to understand the edge of discipline that comes in with Saturn retrograde, because Saturn retrograde is really inviting in for you to look at what you've cultivated up to this point, like what has been your routines and structures towards creating the art, right? For the last 6 months. Maybe you've been consistently doing it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you don't have a routine that supports this and you don't have the energy to do that. That's what you need to look at, right? And also look deeper at, like, why am I resisting this? Am I afraid of my greatness? Am I afraid of my success? Like, what is it, right? Because that's the foundation that needs to be readdressed. Saturn in Aries, overarching, like the overarching energy of Saturn in Aries for the next 2 years is you have to show up every fucking day. You have to show up every day. And Aries is very fleeting. Aries is very quick to jump from idea to idea, project to project. And Saturn is grabbing the Aries energy and saying, look, if you want to have a fire in winter, you need to be chopping wood for 15 to 30 minutes every day. So for your art, Olive, it doesn't matter. Just sit down and create the space and paint. Whether it's something you can sell or it's building the muscle. Now, if everything in you is screaming, this is not what I want to be doing, you have to listen to that. You have to listen to the part of you that is saying, like, this is not for me. I can't do this anymore. And so, right? And now Saturn's going retrograde and he's having us, it's like he's grabbing the kid's head and like pivoting around and showing him all the wood that he's cultivated so far. And he's going, okay, let's go look at it. And you might be realizing, oh, like maybe the wood I was chopping in March, I didn't do well, or that like I didn't cover it properly. And now it's waterlogged and wet and I can't use it. I need to put it in the sun to dry. I need to like, it's this bigger realization of like, it's not just chopping of the wood. How are you stacking it? Is it maintainable? Like, is it easily accessible? Is it even what you want to be? Is it the wood that you want? Were you just chopping down trees because you just thought you needed to chop down trees? But ultimately, like, it's this bigger thing. That's what the retrograde is doing. It's like, oh man, like, I live in the Bahamas. Why am I chopping woods? Right? It's like one of those things. And this ultimately relates to a bigger project or whatever you've been working on, wherever Aries is within your natal chart, right? That would be your second house, right? If you were a Cancer Saturn in the 5th house, that would be the second house, I think. So yeah, it really is about like, and also like your energy levels for you specifically, Olive. So I really love Saturn in Aries. I really do. It is powerful because you got to be real. And so this foundation that you've been building, Saturn's like, okay, cool. You did it. You've been doing it. Check out, like, look at yourself in the mirror. Have you noticed that your body has changed? Because anybody who's chopping wood 15 to 30 minutes a day, y'all are going to get toned as shit, right? That's a part of it too, right? What has changed? How has your environment changed? Look around you. Take a moment and pause. And he's like, pivot, look, and notice, is this where I want to be? Is this a path I want to be on? We have to reevaluate so that we can actually do it better next time. So you might have to go through log by log and evaluate, is this log going to bring me fire? Yes or no? I'm literally seeing like a dating app, like UI, and it's like just logs, different logs. It's like, yes, no, yes, no. That was funny. And they're all just logs. Now I'm seeing Plank from Ed, and Eddie. So, right. And, you know, I come in this really harsh tone because Saturn here to be kind. He's here for you to develop discipline. And if discipline is a hard word for you, I'd say sit with that. And also you can reframe it as devotion. What are you devoted to? What are you devoted to? Is it scrolling on your phone when you wake up every morning? Or is it getting your ass out of bed and going and working out? So, or picking up the paintbrush and, you know, painting, setting aside time, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I feel this is a good ending point for me so I can get to editing and writing the newsletter. For those of you who aren't aware, I take everything that I shared here in this live stream and I A, re-upload it to YouTube, and B, write about it in my newsletter, Letters from the 8th House, that hits your inbox every Monday. And for anybody who is, what's the word? I guess like pays for my Substack. Yeah, you get access to deeper insight around how this is affecting you based off your rising sign. Because what I did just share with you all is like a greater energy, right? How it affects you personally is completely different depending on how it's falling in your chart. Okay. I've been watching you the last couple weeks, becoming a fan. Thank you, Collective Boss. At the gym right now. Let's fucking go. Thank you, Jake. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. This has been lovely. Thanks for being with me while I was like lost in the sauce at the beginning. I've been sleeping 10 hours a day. The sun is transiting my 12th house. Get me out. I'm ready for Virgo season. About to be new season, new me. Okay. All right, guys. I love you so much. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll catch you in another live stream. All right. Bye.